In the dusty streets of ancient Egypt, the story of the children of Israel turned into a complicated path. Even in the time of Moses, their eyes had been captivated by the charms of idols. In the shadow of the temples, it became difficult to maintain their faith. With the leaving of Moses, some of them were driven even deeper. The old idolatrous culture of Egypt became a fascination for some. Among the Israelites, there were those who continued the dark teachings of the Egyptian priests. These teachings changed and distorted Judaism. Kabbalah is the teaching that was transferred from ancient Egypt to Judaism. Kabbalah, like the system of the Egyptian priests, spread as an esoteric, mysterious teaching and, like the Egyptian priests, was basically concerned with magic. So what is Kabbalah magic? Kabbalah magic is known throughout history as one of the oldest and most deepest spells. This special magic is full of spiritual rituals, and the stages of its execution are long and meticulously followed. However, these rituals can be performed by people who are spiritually strong and have mind control. In order to be able to perform Kabbalah magic, it is necessary to master Kabbalistic knowledge. Without a deep understanding of the origins and principles of magic, it cannot be performed correctly. Therefore, before resorting to this magic, it is important to understand its specific history, ability, and knowledge. Incorrectly performed spells can only bring unrest to the practitioner and the requester. Therefore, people who want to cast spells need to be careful and knowledgeable. Kabbalah magic requires more wisdom and deep understanding than other spells, and therefore carries a serious responsibility. The famous Jewish researcher Shimon Halevi, in his book Kabbalah, Tradition of Hidden Knowledge, defines Kabbalah as follows. In practice, Kabbalah is a way of dealing with evil and a dangerous art and magical form of gaining power over the psychological world through symbols. The most important characteristic of Kabbalah is that it is closely related to magic. One of the most well-known books introducing Kabbalah, Die Kabbalah, von Pappus, emphasizes the relationship between Kabbalah and magic as follows. The theory of Kabbalah is connected to the general theory of magic. Kabbalah has a world hidden behind the scenes, deep and mysterious. In a very different way from the classical stories of the Torah, Kabbalah preserves the ancient materialistic outlook of ancient Egypt. It is based on the idea of the continuity of matter. The magical and esoteric teachings of ancient Egypt penetrated the heart of Judaism. Those who inherited these teachings adopted the magical rituals of other pagan tribes, ignoring the warnings of the Torah. Thus, Kabbalah emerged as a mystical teaching within Judaism, but in defiance of the Torah. There is a verse in the Holy Book that emphasizes this point. God informs us that the children of Israel learned satanic magical teachings from sources outside their religion. And they followed what the devils told them about Solomon's property, prophethood. Solomon did not deny it, but the devils did. They were teaching people magic and what was revealed to the two angels, Harut and Marut, in Babylon. But those two did not teach anyone until they said, "We are only a mischief, do not disbelieve." But they learnt from them that which separates a man from his wife. But they could not harm anyone with it except by Allah's permission. Yet they learnt from them that which would harm them and not benefit them. And surely they knew that he who buys it has no share in the hereafter. How evil is that for which they sold their own souls, if they only knew. Al-Baqarah 2:100. According to the verse, some Jews knowingly and willingly chose to learn sorcery in spite of the loss in the hereafter. This choice symbolized a deviation from God's laws and a selling out of their faith in the way of the pagans. The essence of this verse summarizes a profound historical struggle. It was between the faithful Jews who obeyed God's prophets and the pagan followers who rebelled against God's commandments by emulating the ways of the pagans. Interestingly, however, It was not only Jews who participated in this struggle, but also other communities. Kabbalah and pagan teachings resonated not only among Jews, but also among Gentiles. This is not just the story of a period, but reflects a deeper truth of human nature. People are in a constant struggle to preserve their faith.